Hello, everyone. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Jason, quick question.
Hello. Hello.
How did you enjoy the Orion homeworld?
I thought it was great. I thought it was interesting that it was green, right? As the Orions are
Is that
green.
is that really interesting? Like I was thinking about it. I was like, the
I
houses
I
are
thought that was
green, everything
I
was
thought that was
green.
I thought that was interesting. Like if you look at us and the humans, none of us are blue like the planet, right? We have
Exactly.
a whole hues of pigments and the human pigmentation. It's not blue, but for
Right.
some reason Orions are blue. I'm sorry, Orions are green. So let's stick with that. So can we talk about let's the first off the beginning of the show, and we are continuing to have this anonymous spaceship that is
Yes.
just destroying things, right? And they started off in 3 episodes ago. They had the Klingons, they had the
Mhm,
Romulans,
mhm,
and now obviously they had the Orions because this is an Orion show.
mhm.
Um, but now this thing has just destroyed a whole Orion ship. This has never happened in
All
Star
of
Trek
Trek.
history
Correct.
at all. That something is just going through, just annihilating, obliviating, radiating.
Do you think this is something from the Delta Quadrant, Gamma Quadrant,
um,
whatever?
I I think that this is one of those times where I don't want to think about what it is. I just want to wait and see.
Okay.
Right? We always are like, oh, what is this? What is that? What is that? Like sometimes I'm a person that's like, and I
You
think my
delay your
wife
gratification.
I think my wife gets annoyed by that too. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. I'll wait and see. And I think she doesn't like that. She's like, but what do you mean? You wait and see. I'm like, I
No
just don't.
stress. No stress.
I no stress. I just don't know. I'll wait and see.
Okay.
So that happens in my real life and in my Trek life. So we'll wait and see
Okay. All right.
what that is because they are obviously building on something, right?
I agree. I agree. I, I wonder if this is going to be, like every show has a foe, a major foe, and I wonder if this is going to be Lower Decks' major foe.
Well, last season we thought that it was going to be the Gorn,
Hmm.
and the Gorn ended up being like something that happened in 1 episode or 2 episodes or whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not Lower Decks.
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New
Hmm.
Worlds. But you do often have that nemesis of like every season or whatever. Um, but the previous generation didn't have that sort of thing. They had just their episodic episodes of
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
Now we're kind of at a time where we have series arcs and something they want to drop something for the whole series or for that season at
Hmm.
least. But they're also mixing the two
Correct.
of confined episodic episodes
Hmm.
with also trying to build a seasonal arc.
Hmm.
That's what they're doing. They're just putting little seeds in every episode.
I actually like the way that they're doing it, and and holding off until the very end, it or the very beginning. Sometimes is the end.
Sometimes
Sometimes
the
it's
end
the
and
beginning.
sometimes it's the beginning, but
Doing it that way.
it's completely separate from the entire episode, right?
Right, 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 right. I like what it's building because it leaves you wanting more. It like, and in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, okay, so how is the Cerritos going to, I don't know, not trick, but get ahead of who these people are, their quirkiness. How is their quirkiness going to fit in and destroy whatever this is?
Right, right. Because you got to wonder when the Cerritos like interacts with this spaceship, what are they going to do? First of all, nobody knows this is happening.
Hmm.
They're not. Nobody is reporting it. They're not hearing, hey, the Klingons got destroyed, the Romulans got destroyed, the Orions got destroyed. Nobody's hearing about it. So it's not like they have any data whatsoever um, to refer to take care of the problem. So when the Cerritos confronts it, what are they going to do? And we don't know that.
Right now, we're talking about the anomalous ship that we
Hmm.
see.
Oh, the hamster.
The hamster, I'll take the
Okay.
hamster.
It's
I'll
a
take that.
yeah. It's got. I'm naming it the USS Hamsterville.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you think it
Well,
belongs to the Federation
that
then,
was a little
USS?
more,
I
but than
mean,
I
because it's
needed.
like
But
we've seen what happened in Voyage Home when a alien whale ship gets angry. Maybe this is what happened when a hamster ship gets angry.
oh shit, my battery's getting low. Hold on, be right back.
That's pretty much what I'm talking about.
Keith,
Well,
what are your thoughts? What do you think this is?
well,
And where do you think it came from?
I think that what it came from is hints that we got last season. One, you had the peanut hamper being placed in the evil computer bin at the um, Daystrom Institute, and then the post-credit scene in the season finale for last season showed a ship finding Rutherford's implant with Badgie loaded on it, and you know, uh, tractoring it in, and you saw Badgie flash on the eyepiece as they were covering it. So somebody has Badgie, and we know there are all those.
Refresh my
Even
memory because I don't know what you're talking about right now.
in the final episode of season three, there was a post-credit scene
I don't know what that
showing
means.
the wreckage from the end of season one, when you had the Packlids destroy the Solvang and attack the Cerritos.
Okay.
Rutherford
Bucklets.
was still floating.
Yeah. So just as we had follow-up in season three with Peanut Hamper showing back up, we had that somebody went to the wreckage and they found Rutherford's implant. Remember when they had to upload the virus to the Packlet ship? Shax tore the implant out of Rutherford's head,
Yeah,
and it has Badgie loaded on it. So in the post-credit scene, at the end of season three, we saw a tractor beam grab that implant and Badgie flash on the eyepiece. So we know that somebody was
Let
taken
me
back
find
in
out.
what.
Let me find out the Packlets were someone's cute pet years ago, and they're coming back to.
first of all, the
No, we
Packlets
see
are,
that.
are so funny. The fact that somebody was like, let's take these guys and make them a main character in the show is funny as fuck. Like we are smart.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Keith. What were you saying?
And I will say there was one ship that we have seen in previous Star Trek that has a similar look to this hamster, whatever you want to call it, ship that's destroying others.
We'll go with hamster.
And that would be the shuttle pod from the NX-01.
But that's yes, yes, yes. But that's not it.
Like, you remember it comes
Uh,
in for like this and then turns
how'd
to
you get?
attack.
How'd you get that?
Okay.
Master replicas, Eagle Moss release. It just came in last week. So
Hmm.
Okay. All right. All right. Clearly, this is something that you all talked about recently.
no, actually not all.
No,
Oh. Oh,
we're
okay.
talking
Because
about
it looked like William knew what you were talking about.
because we're all Trekkies here.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have a ship being destroyed in last week's
Maybe.
episode, and the fact that this was an Orion-focused episode and it started with an Orion ship being destroyed, but that didn't tie into it at all. I found it odd that they would destroy an Orion ship, then go into an Orion episode. You'd think
Right.
that somebody might have noticed,
S-
hey,
Nobody
mention,
noticed.
So,
Nobody is noticing any of these ships being destroyed at all.
yeah.
so I wonder, Keith, have you been able like to, I don't know, figure out the star maps? Like, what's its trajectory?
Oh, he has
Well,
to figure that out.
Oh, I have to look it up on the map because it was. I mean, Klingons and Romulans border each other. We know
Right.
that. As far as where the Orion Syndicate is,
I think, yeah. Well, as soon as you're done, I have thoughts.
oh, go
What
ahead.
are
I'll
your
look it
thoughts?
up.
Well, first of all, William, I'm sort of like, so William looks so much better than we do. Like his whole, he got a whole studio going on, and his lighting is better. His skin looks so lustrous, and we're just like we're all just fade and plain,
He's
just
also
for the
younger than us by a significant amount.
significant amount.
I don't
But
know
I'm
because me
just
and
saying,
Jermaine look
it's
the
the
same
light. I
age.
think it's the lighting. I think it's got really good lighting going on in the studio.
What? Thank you.
Well, you know he is light skinned and he's wearing a lot of black. So you know it.
He's light skin. You say he's light skin.
It does help. Like,
It's just not light skin versus dark skin thing.
No,
no,
no, I'm not. I'm not.
No,
I'm just.
I'm
It's
just
the
no,
truth.
it's like when you receive uh, an amazing compliment, but you don't know how to thank them without sounding like an asshole.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I think that your video looks way more professional
Oh,
than ours does. That's all I'm saying. And your skin looks good or whatever.
oh, okay.
All right, but go ahead. What you was gonna talk about?
Um,
Bashful ass motherfucker. So,
anyway,
go show it, dude. Show it. Show it. Show it. Go ahead. Yeah.
What were your thoughts, Woody?
okay.
My thoughts are that Jim Kirk is got a big stomach.
Bro, I knew that he was hyping me up for some reason. He's just putting me up on this pedestal just so he can floor me. Like,
I was
no,
not putting you up on a pedestal, dude. I'm just making
no.
comments.
If I were having a Federation dinner and I say, guess who's coming to dinner? I'm referring to you, Jason.
I'm coming. Bring it.
Okay, so this is just an observation, and this could very well change in the next episode. Now we know that the Cardassian Empire is kaput, which is probably why we haven't seen them get torn up yet. So notice that each of these species that got or these ships were part of a conquering empire that had been a bad guy at some point or another. Okay, so we got the Klingons, we got the
They're
Ron.
big guys. Yeah, they're big. They're big guys. Yeah.
They're big guys, right? So it's like I don't know if we're just seeing just random ships that they decided to pick out, or if this is a little ship that pretty much is like saying, "Leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone," because that ship was minding its own business.
Yeah, I feel like the ship is just on its trajectory, going where it's going to go, and then these ships came along, was like, "Hey, what's up?" And then that ship was like, "Fuck you," bam, and then moved along. Right? I feel like that's what it's been doing. It hasn't. I don't think it's been out there to destroy ships. I think the ship
Right.
just showed up.
This one that we saw today was the closest thing that we could see to it having a reason to attack. The
It
other
didn't have a. It didn't have a reason.
Oh,
What
it had a
reason?
reason. It had a reason because it was bothered in this one. Now the first two, it looked like they just crossed paths. That's what it looked like. Because it didn't look like one was chasing the other.
Right.
It looked like they just
So
had
what? So tell me, refresh my memory. What was happening with the Klingons?
the Klingons were just there.
They just were there. They just crossed paths. And they were
Yeah,
like,
they
"Oh,
found it. They thought it
there's
was
a ship,"
garbage.
and they're like, "Hey, let's get on the ship." It's
Yeah,
Klingons
it's
do.
just like now, of
Was
course,
that the lower decks? Was that lower decks
there
episode?
was this is
Yeah.
all over decks. Like
No, no. I know the lower decks show, but I'm saying, was that the Klingon lower decks episode when that
oh,
happened?
the one where he was
It
sharpening.
was that ship from Wedge Douche, yes.
Yeah.
The captain we saw was the lower decker in the episode we saw in season 2.
Right.
Okay. I see what you're asking now. Okay. But yeah, now we'll learn more when we learn more. Now, the reason I brought up the Cardassians is if they would have at some point brought a Cardassian thing, then I would have made the argument saying it looks like they're only attacking conquering type empires. Like we haven't seen a Federation ship yet. We haven't seen any other peaceful or neutral species get attacked yet, or at least that we know of.
Well, is that the
Well,
case, or is that
I do.
the case that just those species are the ones that are seeing it as a threat and are going after it when they see it?
Well,
Right.
I do want to refresh everyone's memory. In this particular episode, the Orions knew that that a ship had been destroyed. They just don't know who.
Right. So at this point, now we're in the rumors phase of the
Mhm.
reports, like because we haven't heard a thing from because mind you, we're in episode 4. In episode 3, we didn't see a thing, we didn't hear a thing. Like, so it definitely is going somewhere. I don't know if it's like a Vidra-esque, I have to get back to where I need to get or something. I have no clue. By the way, I do have one question for everyone. Was that the USS Raven we saw, or was that like the same class ship?
It was the same class ship as the Raven.
Okay. Because I was so
Yeah,
confused.
I definitely got that vibe when I saw it. I was like,
Oh,
oh, the Raven.
was it 7 of Nine's history that got Tindy started on her way? Like, it would have been a nice tie-in, but I would have
No,
needed
no.
explanation.
They saw the ship in the Delta Quadrant, so.
So
Okay.
speaking of Tindy, let's move on to the rest of the episode where, so we've seen Tindy as she has not been comfortable with what she is supposed to be thought of as an Orion, right? Orions are supposed to be these thieving pirates, and she is not comfortable with that because she is a scientist. And we've seen what is that behind you, Will? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, that's
Someone-
It's just like a black and red mound move. It's like,
why are you describing yourself?
what the hell is going on? Anyway,
What happened to Keith? Who took Keith off?
Steve jumped out. He's like, I can't deal with it. Can't deal with these. Can't deal with them. No, but Will just got a whole like black and red just mount just like moving. Anyway, so 10D is trying to move herself far away from what people think Orions are, right? Of thiev
She's trying to
thievers.
change the narrative of who and what the Orions are.
Yes, because
So to
she's a scientist, and that's who she
Mhm.
wants to be identified as. And so she hates, this episode is about her hating having to go to her planet for her people to figure out who she is or where she comes from, because she hates that.
And she doesn't want any record of it at all.
She doesn't.
Mhm. Mhm.
So how much of the Orions, what information do we have of the Orions? We know Enterprise had Orions, right?
And the original
TOS
series. Yeah.
and
Discovery.
Yeah.
yeah, Discovery had Orions, and they were always bad people. But one thing about Star Trek is that like it's a show that's built on coming together and getting over our racism amongst each other as human beings, but then going out and then this all it is racism. So it's like we see Orions, they're this way. We see Klingons, they're this way. We see Vulcans, they're this way. So that's like a kind of a fallacy in Star Trek, where it's just like, okay, Orions are all this
Well,
way. That's impossible because they still have to be scientists.
Well, we don't always see that. We do see episodes where particular characters are like, nah, this is not exactly who and what we are. For instance, I don't know, I don't remember if it wasn't Worf. It was a particular episode where someone was telling
Yeah.
Worf, "Hey, look, we haven't always been a warrior race. We took pride in science and whatnot."
That you see,
Colton, how you doing?
Was
Thank you.
was that before Kalis?
Well, no, it was after, because I was actually going to concur with Jermaine's point, because we saw it in multiple points in TNG, Deep Space Nine, and even Enterprise, where we see Klingons who are not necessarily warriors, who do not want to be warriors. And we're not talking about half human, half Klingon. We're not talking about B'Elanna. We're not talking about Alexander. We're talking about full-fledged. I think it was the Enterprise episode where
Enterprise, yes.
Enterprise, he was a lawyer, and that's all he ever wanted to be. Like,
That's right. That's right. That's right. Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Right. And if I may, I was just telling Evan this, like, during the episode, like, I feel like Lower Decks is really trying to home in on the chronology or the history of the Orions, because it's like the best way that I can describe it right now, because I don't really know where they're going with this and what Tindy is actually struggling with. I mean, we see it here, but I feel like I need more. It's like being an African American who's labeled as a thug in America, but too ashamed or doesn't necessarily want anyone to know that you have a Wakanda back in Africa. It's like so now you're dealing with stereotype.
I'm a thug. Bang bang, bitch.
Well, shit, look, I'm trying to sound intellectual here, bro. Well, I can't anyway, but yeah. So I think you're dealing with the stereotype on another stereotype. Plus, you're not necessarily cool with how people see you, but you're also not cool with how your people treat you. So it's like,
okay, let's go with this then.
She's battling two sides.
Let's go with this. All these planets and all these worlds, they still need scientists and engineers and lawyers and doctors, right? To make the world work. But the hierarchy of who is in charge of space travel can differ on its mission for political interests. Does that make sense? Like who's in charge? Who's in charge? Every all of these planets need all these things, but who's in charge of going in space for that planet maybe makes a difference politically.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Jermaine.
No, I just wanted to say, Keith found, I'm assuming, some evidence that's going to help us out with figuring out.
I'm still trying to figure this out. I found the only map that I can find that has Orion on it, but hold on, I'm still not sure about.
I don't know what that is.
But
do we know which empire that the Orion are close to? Is it Ferengi, Cardassia, Earth? Like
they appear on a bunch of alpha/beta quadrant maps. They do not. They've been in the series going back to the original series, so we would think that they are somewhere closer to the Klingons and Romulans, because Bajorans and Cardassians are farther away.
Right.
But does what I'm saying make any sense?
Yes.
Or is it?
Well, you're talking about the uniculture, the monoculture that Star Trek constantly gets dinged on, and we had a Klingon scientist in the drumhead from Next Generation. Of course, we had the lawyer from Enterprise, and
the scientist from Enterprise.
Yep, and there was also a scientist in another episode of Next Generation as well, the one with the Ferengi scientist.
Oh, there's a Ferengi
scientist. What I'm saying is
Dr. Rega, the guy who created the shields that allowed them to go into the corona of the star.
These people have to exist. All I'm saying is that I think that what's projected is the political structure of their space exploration.
Well, remember how we're viewing these cultures. We're viewing it from the view of Starfleet, which is a quasi-military group. So you're going to be seeing, they call them exploration vessels, but at times of war, they're war vessels. So you're going to have our military basically talking to their military. So there may be a science officer, there may be other things on the ship, but
in general, you're going to view these new species as belligerent, because that's what they are.
Because that's not how the species is.
No, it's not how the species.
But there may be the powers that be, and that have gone out is.
Yes, this episode was the very first time we've been to Orion,
and
Orions literally go back to the very, very first episode, the Cage. where you have Vina paint as an Orion slave girl when Pike is considering his things he could do other than being in Starfleet.
She's Orion.
No, well, remember in one of the imaginary scenarios he's put in, it has Vina as an Orion slave girl dancing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we got from the very beginning of Star Trek the idea that the Orions have slave girls. Now, of course, that was sort of turned up on its head in Enterprise, which this episode continues on, showing that although the women seemingly are slaves, they release the pheromones that allow them to control the males.
Right. That's a small percentage, I think. But
Yes,
nonetheless,
but
so
we did
the
not
rest.
see Orion slave girls in this episode. We saw men who are basically enslaved by the pheromones, or the moans, as they call them, which was a nice touch.
The moans.
The moans.
The stink. The
I'm
stink.
not
It
gonna
means
lie.
so many
stink.
things.
It was the stink.
Bro,
She was like, my stink.
I'm gonna tell you right. I'm gonna tell you right now. If this ain't every gay person's favorite episode in this season, you ain't. I'm taking your card. I'm taking your shit. I'm taking you. Taking. I'm. Here's a ticket. Okay, you go pay the fine. Like so. Better yet, hold up.
Why? Wait, why?
Wait, why?
Why is your black? What the William? Why is that
Okay.
person not even moving at all and behind you?
That's what you're paying attention to.
This is what Jason does.
I think Jason is trying to
That
change
person
subject.
is just not
Jason
moving.
is trying too hard. Okay, so anyway, now that we're here, if this episode, let me tell you something, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, you can find what you want to find, any cartoons you like on Twitter.
Move your head to the left. Move your head. Move your head to the left.
All what I saw, I
What
was
is
like,
that person
it's
doing?
just a matter, Jermaine, hear me out. It is just a matter of time before someone makes some yaoi hentai version of what we just saw over here. Like, you're gonna see a bunch of green
Oh,
guys.
I'm sure if you
It's
go
gonna-
on to
it's gonna remind you
deviantart.com,
of-
there's going to be some art for this episode.
Half naked.
It's gonna remind you of Goblin's Cave. But anyway, so it's just yeah. You know what? Let me shut up, because it's just
Well,
it's just the arms alone. It's just like, bro. And you gotta admit, the bride or the man, the dude that was coming down the aisle, he was kind of cute. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'd have carried him
All
on my shoulder. I said, bro, because here's my thing. It's just like, first of all of them look like Tarzan. Okay, can we talk about that? Like, you remember that scene in George of the Jungle when Brendan Fraser was just ripped and he just came out the bathroom and you're just
I
like,
never saw it.
You know it's like George of the Jungle?
I never saw it.
Oh man.
I watched the original cartoon
fine. You
growing up,
saw
but I
it.
never
Okay.
watched it.
You didn't see him swinging in that photo? He
I
was
see that.
swinging.
I see somebody behind you just sitting there for no
Jason,
reason.
let it go, man. Come on.
Like, I mean, like, I'm just saying that they were fine. They were gorgeous. And you know what? I normally don't go for the
The cartoon guys.
type, but let me tell you something. Like, they could get it or give it.
You know
However
what?
they want. I don't know
Tindy's
how to talk
dad.
like
Tindy's dad was given.
What's his name? Brad or some shit like that.
period.
Bert. His name was Bert.
And
What was
here's
his
the
name? His name was like
I don't
Bert.
know. I don't know his name.
His name was like a regular. His name was like a regular ass. It was like Bert. His name
okay,
was
he
Bert.
can give me that Burt 3000 then. That's cool. Like,
I don't even know what that means, but
good.
Keith, let us know when you're ready.
first of all, let me sidetrack for a second. So I'm watching Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you
Great
finish?
I did finish.
Okay.
I liked it.
Okay.
Now I like read another one of Isaac Asimov's books, but
Oh,
I kept noticing it's directed by
Oh, Roxanne Dawson.
Biggs.
Roxanne Dawson.
Yeah, Darcy
Mhm.
Dawson.
I was like, oh, if
She's directed
first-
several.
at
That
first
wasn't
I
her
thought
first.
it was in my head. At first I was thinking Rosario Dawson from,
No.
and I was like, oh my god, that's Roxanne Dawson. She's directing it. Anyway, that's my
Yeah,
sidetrack.
she did
Let's move along.
an interview with Trek Movie this week about returning to sci-fi, and they have offered her several opportunities to direct Star Trek, and she has said, "I have done Star Trek." The reason I did Foundation is because David Goyer came to me and said, "This is not Star Trek," and she said, "Good," because I always want to try to do
Other
something
things.
different.
Mhm.
Right. But I do like the show.
Yeah. I'm a little bit behind, but I've read all the books.
I've never read any of the books, but I'm digging the episodes, man. Just the worlds that they've built.
Now, the books, there's a significant difference between the books and the television storyline,
Of
but the
course,
books
of
are still
course.
fantastic.
Of course. Always is.
Okay, I've
Anyway.
given up on Memory
So
Alpha and giving me
Anyway.
information.
So would it be
Anyway,
a bad
I want
idea
to say
for
that
Halloween? I wanted to be an Orion slave. Like,
You just want to get naked.
is that a bad thing though? Like, here's the thing. I already have the physique. I got the hair. Like, all I got to do is just comb it out and leave it down, and
you lost weight. Now you want to go all out, basically.
well, I've been out, and now I'm just getting out of my clothes. So like, it just like what y'all keep walking into these jokes and thinking that y'all forgot after 2 years, y'all forgot who I was. Like I'm just saying for Halloween, I might be an Orion. Specifically would he still be considered the groom?
Girl.
Okay,
Yeah.
the groom walking down the aisle.
I don't think
wanna be
anybody
him.
would know who you were. I think nobody would know who you were.
And Jermaine can be Bert.
Bert, the husband, the father.
Why is he considering it? I know he's low-key.
No, he's not considering it. He's trying
No,
to
look at him.
figure out.
Considering it.
He's figured out what the fuck you talking
He's
about.
considering it.
No, I don't have the physique for that. I ain't doing it. It ain't happening.
It's okay. I'll give you a suit or something. I don't know. Like, we'll figure it out. Put a punch
Anyway,
in your chest. Like,
in this episode of Star Trek, Lower.
Don't do that. Don't do that, because you the king of tangents. Don't do that.
bro, you tried to derail and go to different subjects literally the last 20 minutes. I don't know if you're trying to compete
Yeah.
with me or Michael.
I'm trying to compete with myself, so I'm understanding that's what I do. So I'm trying to bring it back to the plate. What the fuck is that person doing behind you, bro?
Do you really want to know?
Jason,
Yeah.
let it go.
Okay, I'm sorry, Keith. You know what? Since me and Keith met in person, I'm gonna let it go.
Seriously, it doesn't matter what the guy's doing.
It doesn't matter. As long as he keeps his clothes on, it doesn't matter what he's doing. Right?
Nobody was thinking about clothes off.
He doesn't even know. He's zoned out.
Well,
That guy's like Nagilum.
You mother. You know what? I'm going.
I'm trying to find it. The map I put up. Okay, bring up the map that I put up. Maybe.
So
Hold on. Now,
Boimler and Rutherford are having an argument.
they could have kept that. They could have made the whole episode about Orions. They could have kept that.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to just like show
Boy,
how they're getting along or whatever. And they had the whole Mark Twain thing.
which was that was entertaining. That was entertaining.
It was entertaining because we've seen that before, right? Because that's a Trek thing.
well, we've seen Mark Twain in person. The action.
Right.
But you're the one saying, "Let it go." Hold on, wait a minute. This is too much. This is too much. I'm sorry, Mark Twain. What were we saying?
I'm trying not to scream right now because I know I'm on a mic right now.
Well,
So,
Jason's taking phone calls. So,
oh, okay. In that case,
all right, caller, you're on the line. What do you have questions for William?
So Keith.
Okay. Near as I could tell on the map that I sent you, Orion seems to be across Federation space from the Klingons and Romulans. But it's been hard to read this map. But if you look at the boxes to the far right, that's Romulan, the Romulan neutral zone is between those boxes, and Romulus is in the middle box of the three on the right.
Okay.
So that's beta quadrant of the galaxy over there.
Gotcha.
I know we have like Delta Vega right in front and center, and in the middle is Vulcan and Earth. And it looked like Orion was to the left of that, which would put it more farther in the Alpha Quadrant. So if that ship was near in Orion space, which they did they
So
not sure.
basically, you're making it sound like they're following the Cerritos.
It's possible. And if it is Badgie controlling it, that makes perfect sense that he's coming after the Cerritos. So
Are we talking about the trajectory of this this destroying thing based on the attacks?
yes,
Correct.
Yeah,
So
because,
this is basically like a V'ger type deal.
What?
Get back to the creator.
possibly yes. I could. It definitely has hints of that. Nomad as well had the same storyline. So from the first season, or what they call it. What was the name of the episode?
The way Brotherford was finishing each other's sentences, I ain't gonna lie. I was thinking something else for a second up until the bonsai scene, and then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
The Changeling. That was the episode. I love that we got a return of one of the alien species from Next Generation that we only ever saw that one episode of the Next Generation.
Which one?
The people that were threatening Freeman. There was an episode where Picard was abducted and put into a room with other abducted people, and he was replaced with a guy one of the aliens who was shapeshifted, looked like him, and tried to get people singing in 10 Forward.
Yeah, it was like the Nausicaan's cousin or something.
Yeah. Did they ever say who the people were? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought it was them for a second, but it wasn't.
Chownoff. The Chownoff.
Chownoff.
Yes, they were first seen. They were first seen in the Next Generation episode Allegiance, as you had Isak, a male Chownoff from the planet Chowna, was one of the abductees in the room with Picard.
So I thought they ate meat. Why did he eat a bonsai tree from Karate Kid?
Bonsai trees existed before Karate Kid, William.
Oh,
Long time.
Wow.
But
maybe he just wanted to eat it. I mean,
well, the only thing we know he doesn't eat are those discs that they provide that would look like soap that they provided in the Next Generation episode. So what he actually eats could be a lot more open-minded. But
So Mariner gets stabbed 4 times.
yes, all in the same place.
Exactly.
I kept waiting, like even at the end of the episode, I kept waiting for her to get stabbed again. Like, is she gonna get stabbed again?
Well, I loved when she gets stabbed in the bar. They hand her a container filled of other knives covered with blood, and just added to the collection.
It's like a tip jar.
Yeah. But it was nice that we didn't see. We so often see badass Mariner. It was nice that we saw badass Tendi instead.
Correct.
Who we have seen a couple times, but Mariner legitimately taking a back seat to allow Tendi to shine. And of course, T'Lyn continuing to fit in so very well with our established crew.
Are you guys liking T'Lyn?
I like her now. Well, okay, I liked her before, and I knew it was just a matter of time for character development. But I like her introduction. I knew she was going to be, we know Vulcans. But this particular one, aside from the Boimler and T'Lyn episode, I really like the development of T'Lyn, and this because she said something that I've been saying for a long time. Aesthetically pleasing. I've been waiting for someone else to say that besides me. And that I was over. I was like, yeah, I love you.
What?
Have you noticed that in this particular season, they're spending a bit more time on character development outside of Boimler and Mariner?
Yeah.
Wait. What? So what character development are you talking about with T'Lyn?
Their friendship. They're developing friendship.
Oh, okay.
Like T'Lyn is not giving pessimistic, views or viewpoints every 10 seconds. She's actually agreeing with a lot of what Mariner and Tindy are saying. Like, hey, can I take notes? Oh, yeah, he's pretty freaking hot. Oh, yes, he is very aesthetically pleasing. I concur. Like, like really
Spock
joining.
like a female Spock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Keith, that grin.
What grin?
Well, maybe that's because of the delay.
Yeah, I got, for some reason, I got frozen there for a minute.
Well, T'Pol was a great Vulcan. But we'll see how Tallinn does. I like her so far. Yes, I will say I do.
What's nice is they have folded her into the crew, into the key. I mean, now that we have key 5 instead of the key 4, and we don't feel like she's taking up too much time from the other 4.
So you say you like her. How does she stack up?
What do you mean? How she stack up?
I mean, we know how you feel about Spock and Strange New Worlds.
Well, okay. How I feel about Vulcans in general
Here we go.
is they suck. They're all arrogant.
Gay suck.
And
there's a difference.
They like I have my key Vulcans that I like. Like I like Spock. I like what's the one for Voyager? I can't even think of his name.
Tuvok.
I like Tuvok. I like T'Pol. But every other Vulcan is just like this shady, arrogant asshole bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Every other Vulcan. They're all bitches. They're shady. They're fucking shady, and they're assholes. And I'm sorry, like, if I'm saying that, but like, is that not true? Keith, is that not true?
Oh yeah, they are pretentious dicks.
They are pretentious dicks. Thank you.
We saw like, I mean,
like every fucking Vulcan that we meet up with is a pretentious asshole. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. We didn't see it, and it was the shades of it all throughout the history of Star Trek until Enterprise, when it was on full display. Like every episode, they had to deal with something Vulcan where it's like the stick is so far up their asses.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's why their ears are pointy. The stick breaks. And
Thank you. Thank you. God damn.
Why?
They just come into the episode angry all the fucking time.
No, it's not that they're angry. It's that they're better than everyone else.
They're pretentious. They're very pretentious.
They're elitist.
Yeah.
We're definitely elitist.
I'm better than you. I'm better than everybody in here. Fuck you. That's their attitude.
Yep.
Jermaine, you're not getting hot, are you?
Right.
I'm not responding to you.
That said, Leonard Nimoy did a great job at portraying a Vulcan.
Yes, he did.
Tuvok
That's
a great job.
Jason's segment on what it means to be a Vulcan.
The main people, T'Pol, she did a great job of portraying a Vulcan. Like all the shit that she went through, still, you know what I mean. So, what's her name? T'Pil? What's the card? What's
T'Pau?
T'Pau.
No, not T'Pau.
Or T'Pound.
From Lower Deck. Tallinn. So she is decent so far. She's good.
The fact that she was willing to put aside her report, just completely throw it out, chuck it out the window, even. Right.
I swear to God, William Walford, if you don't get that motherfucker out your room right now, I don't know what is happening in there. What is going on?
Oh God, I'm so hot.
What is happening?
Keep talking. This is
I'm just saying.
This is gold.
Like, This is literally like a 1995 like.
Well, just Vulcans make perfect science officers because they are constantly judging you. So they are constantly doing scientific analysis. It's just
Thank you,
to
Colton.
some
You get
degree,
it.
Thank
You
you.
get it.
it's judging.
I know you of all people will definitely understand.
I agree with that, Keith, but I'm saying it doesn't mean they have to be assholes all the fucking time. They're
I'm
assholes.
going to use that word right now.
Well, look at the Vulcans we've met that weren't part of Sorok's teachings, like mainly the brother. Shoot, I'm blanking on his name. Spock's brother.
Cybok?
Cybok. He is not a follower of Sorok. He expresses emotions. He uses it to a full degree.
Should we even be talking about Cybok? Like, should that even be like somebody we talk about?
Well, I'm surprised he didn't show up in season 2 of Strange New Worlds because they teased him in season 1.
I think
So hopefully we'll get to see him in season 3, whenever the hell that comes out.
I was waiting for it too.
I think if I was Sarek, I would kill my fucking self. Like, oh my god, I'm the worst Vulcan father ever in the history of Vulcan.
They all redeem themselves, though, right? Well, at least 2 of the 3 redeem themselves.
Cybok does not redeem himself.
Jason, we've said this multiple times. You don't suck.
I don't. I lick. But what I'm saying is, look at Jermaine. What the?
A lot. I'm just saying. And me, I. What? It's like God.
I'm like,
you know, it's like I'm just.
I don't know what's happening.
We don't even know what the conversation is about no more. We have no idea what we're talking about.
I feel like Maria's gonna call me real soon.
Yeah, I really miss Marie right now.
Yeah, Marie's gonna call me and be like, "What the hell was that?
What
and why didn't you call me?"
What are we talking about?
I mean, we were talking about basically there's to pow, to pound, to moan. Not to moan. Well, I mean, you could moan if you would. Well, shit. Sorry.
Whoa, we're not supposed to. Okay. Closing thoughts. What are your thoughts about this particular episode?
Okay, I have one question.
Okay.
So the person behind you, are they doing anything, or are they watching TV? Are they playing a video game?
Okay, if you must know, let me answer the question. I'll answer the question.
What's happening?
I'll answer the question.
Yeah.
We mounted a TV last night. Okay.
Yeah.
Here in the studio. It's a 55-inch Sony OLED. It worked real hard for it.
So y'all mounted it and worked hard for it.
Most definitely in more ways than one. So, and I'm not mad to say it. So, that being said, he's playing on his PS5 right now. Because
but the whole the whole hood, and it's just like the bright red and black. It's like a whole. It's like a TNG episode, dude. It really is.
I need you to flesh that one out for me, bro.
It's like, remember Jordy was like,
you don't even know what point you were trying to make.
No, I'm saying, remember Jordy was like infested by something, and he was
invisible.
Yeah, that episode.
That episode was kind of creepy. Is this because my room is blue?
No. Hold on.
Go and pick that up.
Hey.
Okay, Keith, what are your thoughts about this episode?
Yeah, please, Keith, please.
Okay. I was glad to see some good promising growth from Tendi, getting more of her backstory, where her name comes from, the fact we get to see her family, which we haven't seen any of Boimler's family yet, and we obviously haven't seen any Rutherfords. The only one we've seen considerable about is Mariner, because we've met her parents. But now we got Tendi up there. Mariner herself pointed out that we don't know a lot about your background. So we're 4 seasons into this show, not knowing this much background was actually surprising for these main characters. But we have a fuller picture of Tendi, and this was the first episode where we saw Boimler and Rutherford disagree on anything. Because going back to the very beginning, where they would play the diplomacy game, and yes, they may be on different sides, but they worked to a compromise that neither liked, so they won. And every time we've seen them buddy up, they've been very close. So it was nice seeing that divide, even though it was over something small as watering a bonsai. But the way they came together, I thought was neat. But I liked seeing the continued character growth we've had, and we did get that small step forward on the other ship. Though I wish we would have had some greater connection to the Orion ship being destroyed in an episode that takes place on Orion. That there would be some reference to, oh, so and so was supposed to be here, but their ship has gone missing. So
I to piggyback off of that point, I was kind of expecting like some sort of leading into the next episode, some sort of manhunt for that ship, like, or something, because you don't get each of these, as I said earlier, are conquering, empiring species. You know, you don't take one of their ships away and then they ignore it. This is not one of those cover-up Dora stories. This is an actual thing. Now, they may not know about it with each other, but just like the chase, each of these species are going to be chasing this thing sooner or later. And I think in the season finale of this season, we are going to see the equivalent of that, where we're going to see multiple species converge on one point in space to find this thing, and only to find out maybe it was Badgie all along.
So for me, what I thought was nice was, and you're gonna have to go there with me on this. I like to compare characters in one particular show, in one particular series with characters in another series. What we learned today was that Tendi is or was the first prime of the fifth largest syndicate, which to me sounded very reminiscent of Deanna Troy being the daughter of the fifth house of whatever. Right. It was just, kind of like, it wasn't a callback, not at all, but it just reminded me of that. And I really liked how that kind of worked out. Not knowing that about her.
So this whole idea of Badgie is interesting because I'm wondering if they're going to use that later and bring him up.
Remember, we also have a undealt with Section 31 storyline.
Right.
William Boimler.
Yeah, because William was presumed dead in the A Crisis Point 2 from last season, but wakes up at the end having been recruited into Section 31.
Right.
So this could be a Section 31 ship even. That's another possibility if we're truly continuing on threads from previous seasons.
So we have nothing about changelings or nothing like that. You don't think it's a changeling thing, or
I don't think it's changeling.
We see closure of changelings in Picard.
And Jason, let me also tell you one thing right now: it's not the Gorn.
I don't think it's the Gorn.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm very unhappy about how they have portrayed the Gorn in Strange New Worlds. I understand what they're doing. It's
one of them that look like Godzilla.
It's way too monstrous. Like, I don't even believe these people to be.
Well, they turned them into the xenomorphs from Aliens. So.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But I don't believe them to be technically faring. You know what I mean? Like, I have to believe that these people have rose up and developed technology and developed spaceships and developed science and developed math and developed.
Why do you think that?
Healthcare.
We've seen a number of aliens that steal other people's technology.
Packlids?
Not just Packlids.
Even
Ferengi.
Yeah, I was about to say the Ferengi too.
First of all, You
Exactly.
cannot steal technology without understanding the technology.
I get it.
Mm,
I get it.
I don't know.
But
The Americans did.
You cannot do that.
well, just remember
I I
Saru's
I, I,
finding.
I would say the packlids, and I would just let that happen because it's fun. Packlids are fun. Let them um let them steal shit and do what they're gonna do, and it's just fun, and let's have fun with that. And I will let that go. But in general, you can't steal technology without understanding how it works. You just can't do it.
Well, you steal the technology and then you figure out how it
exactly.
works, like Saru did in the Short Treks episode, where he learned the from the Baul technology he found and was able to contact a Federation ship.
Yes, I didn't like them either. I thought they were too I thought they were too grotesque and
Or the
not
Baul.
the Baul. I thought it was like these people don't even look technical. People have to be technical. Sorry.
Well,
Okay,
I
yeah.
love Star Trek, and there's so much that we
okay.
have in Star Trek, but
All right. Did anybody watch the very short Treks that came out yesterday?
I did not
I
get a
did
chance
not.
to. I'm sorry.
oh, I did not.
It's called Worst Contact, and it stars Jonathan Frakes as Riker and uh, uh, Gates McFadden as Dr. Crusher. Next
Is it on?
Generation.
Is it
It's
on
on,
Paramount?
no, it's on YouTube and
That's what I
StarTrek.com.
thought.
There are
Oh, that's why I couldn't find it.
It's
Okay.
not on
Yeah,
Paramount.
it's not on
So
Paramount.
because each time I knew we're supposed to have like 2 or 3 short treks coming out.
Well, give us
Um,
a link. Give us a link to it.
well,
Uh,
and each time I went to Paramount, it wasn't there. So, but now I know why it's on YouTube and Star Trek. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the one that's set in Next Generation. The next week's episode is the one that involves Lower Decks, in which the Lower Decks crew goes on to. It looks like it was the one of Quark's uh, holodecks on Deep Space Nine, and we know Quark is supposed to be making an appearance as well.
We love Quark.
And we are still expecting a. Well, we did have a Saru. Saru popped up in last week's episode, but I'm hoping the next one of the last one of the short treks is the Saru one.
Cool.
But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this first episode of Very Short Treks, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I want to watch it. I'm sorry I haven't watched it.
Just put the link in the chat and you can share it.
I see it.
Okay, y'all. Thank you all so very much for joining us. That's gonna be the last word on today's episode. A lot happened. We hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great.
You guys have a great night. Y'all are awesome.
Did you cut yourself off? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not gonna ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. yeah.
Oh my god.
I was watching.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has
Okay,
questionable
I didn't
ideas
catch
about
that
what he
one.
puts.
I didn't
William
catch
has
that one.
questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wait, what?
We put on an audio